wants to be a little bit careful, the tension just not creeping in. The marks, though, look to be averaging around those 7s on a pretty consistent basis, keeping her score over 70%. Needs to watch coming out, doesn't get a little bit large at the end like it did to the left, and just keep that jump, keep that. Trot perhaps getting penalised coming out after the pirouettes. See that only 5.4. The passage to give a nice strong final line and a smile at the end for Laura Tomlinson and Falatien, the British combination. Well, as I said, 2 British riders here, the World Championship combination. The World Champions are here as well in the form of Charlotte Fry and Glamourdale. As I said, it's a mouth-watering lineup here this week. We'll get into it more and more as we progress through this Grand Prix and look to what it means going into the freestyle, of course, here on Saturday, when it will be a absolute delight. It's going to be one of those very, very special days in the sport. But just looking to try and see where that puts Laura. All in all, plenty to enjoy, and continuing just to put those building blocks into place for the future and picking up more and more mileage. So, their second outing in World Cup competition here in the Grand Prix, and after that run out in Amsterdam, she'll be looking to perhaps see if she can improve on that score. And there we have it, 69.957 is the average across our judges. Yes, into second place here. Always looking to improve. It is an improvement by around about 0.1% over her mark from her first outing in Amsterdam. So things going in the right direction there for Laura Tomlinson and Falatien, but 2 have gone, and it is the Dutch that have set the standard with 71.022. But many, many more to go as we enjoy this FEI Dressage World Cup, the Grand Prix here. Well, next up, it's another for the Dutch, Marlies van Balen, riding Habibi DVB. Is gelding by Blue Horse Don Schuffro out of a Johnson TN mare. Marlies, who rode in Tokyo in those Olympic Games on the ride Go Legend. That was her European Championship ride in that same year. She's qualified for the finals in the past. She's had 4 trips to the FEI Dressage World Cup final over the years, and double Olympian. She rode in Docus back in Athens in 2004. This is only the 3rd show for this combination at bi-star level. Their first show coming at the back end of last year. Their first show ever together. So as I say, this is their first 5-star. 2 outings they have had together previously. Spielberg in December, where they actually won on their debut in the Grand Prix, 73.956. They also went to Le Mans in February, where they scored 72.935 and finished in 2nd there. So really stepping up, and Habibi looking to be the future here for Malise. Very comfortable in the half pass. Lovely square halt. Really exuding some wonderful presence within that extended trot, and I think that'll be reflected in the marks. There you have it, 7.9. Lovely transition, certainly the strongest Passage and Piaffe that we've seen so far in these early stages. Just lacking a little bit of rhythm. Just maybe wanted to stretch a little bit more, get a little bit more through the body, let the frame lengthen out somewhat in the extended walk, and again just try to keep that rhythm a little bit more in the collected walk. Now much more at home back in these Passage and Piaffe movements. Be careful the tension doesn't creep in. Very nice changes there in the two-time changes. Really nice and straight. Starting to edge within a sort of percentage mark of Mali's personal best. That's 73.956. Really is putting together an exceptionally strong Grand Prix test for these two in this really early stage of their career together. Watch the collection a little bit. Just really allow the horse to float round in the pirouette. They lost their balance a little bit coming out there, didn't they? of the one to the right. That's reflected, you can see in the mark, 6.5. Again, they're able to really get some nice marks on the board with the Piaf Passage movements. Well deserving of the applause, and well deserved of the smile, as just finishing there, Marlies van Baarle and BBDVB wrapping things up, and I have to say, looks, I think, will be the best of the tests we've seen so far. I'd say it's early days, but let's remember the fact that it's early days for these two as a combination. Marlies, of course, huge experience, more experienced riders, but this is only their third FEI Grand Prix test together, and of course their first at 5-star level, having competed in a couple of 3-stars so far. So you know, the comparison, 73.956 being the winning score from Pilberg, where they won in that 3-star, and the opposition is much tougher here today, and I have a feeling we'll be pushing on towards 73% again with the way we were watching those marks come through. So really exciting. Again, a little bit in the vein of you look to Laura Tomlinson, is looking perhaps beyond this season, looking to the summer, looking to next winter as well, with the next year's final perhaps in mind, where they can have a real run at the qualification. It's exceptionally tough, but able to get some good experience and a very strong score. It is over 73 for their third show together. 73.087 or 73.087 is the mark, and obviously that sets the standard as things currently stand. Well, we move on to the Austrian partnership. Timna, Valenta, Zach and Farant. A rider that has certainly benefited. We spoke earlier about Denise, and Timna also benefiting massively in her career, coming through those sort of youth ranks so successfully. She rode at 9 youth European championships, from juniors all the way through to under 25s. Back in 2017, I think, is when she finished in under 25s. This ride, Farant, the stallion by Spielberg out of a Negro mare. This is the partnership that won the World Cup round in Silverstone in Hungary back in October. Their personal best in Grand Prix competition coming in Austria back in 2021, when they scored 71.870. Very solid start. Just to watch they don't sort of lose the cadence and that rhythm through the half pass to the right. Again, maybe could have just been a little bit squarer. Just watch that they're not sort of dragging through the rain back. Perhaps not as even as they might have wanted to be. Just looking for a little bit maybe more definition in the piaffe, and just watching those transitions just look like they lost their balance a little bit. And then you sort of feel like you lose the rhythm into the second passage. It all just chips away at your mark. Just maybe looking a little bit uneven coming through the piaffe back out into the passage. Transition just holding the mark down a little bit. Looking for a little bit more power in that extended canter, just wants to be able to really show the risk element to the judges. Sort of swinging or swaying, I don't know which word you'd rather use, through the one-time changes, and just maybe we needed to allow the horse just to go a little bit more forward through those changes. Watch that the pirouettes don't get too large. Nice and confident in the extended trot. Just losing out through that transition as well. Well done to them. To Austria's challenge, Timna, Valentina Zak and Farah. He lost the power, and I know that really has into the halt. All combined with the transition out through the Piaf and Passage, just costing them a bit more at the end. So I'm sure they'll have perhaps wanted a bit more, but she still looks delighted, and that is ultimately what we're looking for, is a happy rider and a happy horse. And after that, it's down to the judges. We've seen the marks coming through. 73.087 is the best of the scores so far. Whether that, I think it'll quite break the 70% barrier, but we will see in a moment or two what the judges have said for that partnership of Falla, the stallion there by Spielberg. Coming out there, just losing the way a little bit, getting a little bit large coming out. Confident extended tropical again, just perhaps needing to show a little bit more to really be able to push the marks. So, had its moments for Tina Valentezak, and here's the score as well. It is an average of 68.152%. See the judges at ENH actually just holding that score down a little bit, but certainly C and B and then keeping it up. So 68.152 is the final mark, and that goes into the fourth of the four that we have seen. Well, next up, it's going to be the turn of Hungary now, from Austria to Hungary. Because Yasmin Yontov now with Hexagon's Grandville. 21 years of age. You can see the best score there. This 12-year-old gelding. Hexagon's Louisville, out of a Ruby Quill mare. Similar story for Yasmin. We're seeing quite a lot of young talent in terms of riders here, and another rider that sort of came through those youth ranks. She started out back in the children's category, children's youth Europeans, back in 2015 for Hungary, and then all the way through to 2021 when she was last in the under-25s. This was a ride back in those under-25s in 2021. She finished in the top 10 on Hexagon's Grandville that year. She's had the ride. It was the first year of her riding this horse. This is their first, though, World Cup round or World Cup show together. Had a couple of outings this year in Lier and Exley. To try and challenge that leading score, 73.087. But as we've been watching, you can really see just a few little moments. The halt, perhaps the most noticeable, just getting a little bit tight, just losing that rhythm again and affecting the marks. And again in the Passage, just perhaps needing to just bring that collection together, just allow the engagement to come from behind. Losing the rhythm then through into the Piaf, and just losing that activity. Struggling a little bit on their marks through that set, but now coming into the walk moments. Needed a little more sort of ground cover. They wanted to allow the freedom, allow the relaxation through the extended walk. Again, just wanting to show you a bit more sort of clarity, rhythm, just not allow things to get a little bit hurried in the collected walk. that mistake in the change at K. And again, just losing that rhythm through the sort of centre line movements with the counter half passes, flying changes there. Just need to be a little bit more precise and show that control. Again, just losing the rhythm in the first of the pirouettes. Lost that canter. Just struggling a little bit more the further we get into the test, sadly, for Yasmin. First time at 5-star level in s-Hertogenbosch this week. Well done to them. Yasmin Yomtov and Hexagon's Granville for Hungary. It will not be the highest of scores, but at the end of the day, you can see a little bit of disappointment. I'm sure they maybe would have wanted to give more. And it's their first time at this level. And we know what it's like in this sport. You just aren't quite able to keep the rhythm. Mistakes done, that tension creeps in, and the odd mistake, certainly the main mistake being around that change coming out of the collective canter, that flying change at K. Also having an issue in the zigzag. A bit more balance and jump in the pirouettes. Certainly some promising parts though. Now waiting for that score. Oh, there it is, 65.087. It is the mark for the Hungarian partnership there of Hexagon's Granville and Yasmin Yomtov. Still leading the way there for 73.087 is Maries van Balen and Habibi DVB. Looking for the next. Great to see so many people here on the opening day. Of course, top jumping sport as well ahead, but it is our focus dressage both today and on Saturday. Great to see the sport back here, the s-Hertogenbosch round. Such an important part of the calendar. And Peter Minhard next to go. This is Glock's dream boy for the Dutchman. It has been a big part of Olympic teams over the years, World Championship teams. You think of some of the horses. I mean, this was his ride in Tokyo. Think of Glock's Johnson. 2008, the team silver, Equus Nadine. His team gold medal winning ride at the World Games back in 2010 as well. He won the World Cup final back in 2016 on Glock's Flirt. 7 trips, and that win coming. He's taking numerous European medals. This partnership last out in Amsterdam. They found their way into the top 6 in the freestyle. It was a bit of a recovery, really, because it didn't go so well in the Grand Prix that day. They finished down in 11th place, 73.326, but then, of course, moved all the way up to 6th place in the freestyle, which came off the back of 5th place in the freestyle in London in Excel in December. Stallion by Vivaldi out of an Olympic Ferro mare. We're off and running. Looks to be an impressive start. Expressive paces. Really nice crossing there through the half passes. Needs to be a little bit careful with the contact. Just ensure they keep it nice and steady. Ooh, just kicking the board down there, just getting right up against the edge of it. It's not something I've seen happen that often, and just sort of not that clear. I mean, of course, you're going to be affected on your marks because it wasn't the most fluent of rainbacks, and showing that by the way they did clip the boards. You can see there's the score. 5.4 really does, you know, drag in the score in the wrong direction after what had been an otherwise solid start for these two. We know how they really come alive in the freestyle, but they'll still be wanting the best possible mark out of the Grand Prix here today. Again, always is confident in the passage in PF. Maybe a little bit short in the extended walk to show more ground cover and allow the collected walk to be a slightly sort of clearer pace. Not the most fluent of transitions either into the passage, just maybe a little early. Again, very comfortable once they're in that sort of passage piaffe combination of movements. And that's certainly able to deliver some stronger scores. mistake in the zigzags. More mistakes though coming in the one-time changes. Finding it tough out there today in the Grand Prix. Although, nice pirouette to the right. For a nice strong centre line to finish off. Well, nice to see them here and getting a very strong reception here on home soil. A man that has certainly had a lot of success representing the Netherlands over the years, as I said at the start. An Olympic, World, European medals and a World Cup final win in there as well. He's had some fabulous horses and a exceptional career. Absolutely convinced they will come out a lot stronger in the freestyle. They always do. They've had the runs in London and in Amsterdam both times in the top 6. To compare their Grand Prix test in London because it was the short test. But Amsterdam was 73.326. They dropped out of the top 10 that day in the Grand Prix. Really came back strong in the freestyle. Plenty of ability, plenty of experience. Way to the freestyle in Tokyo, if you remember. Really nice piaffe and passage today. There was just, unfortunately, just a couple of little mistakes in there. Especially in the one-time changes. Some nice parts, and that has certainly pushed the score over 70%. 72.130 and into second place for Hans-Peter Minderholt and Glock's Dream Boy. So we move on in Tokyo to a rider for Japan. Great to see these two here. It is Kazuki Sato. Rides Barolo. Gelding by Brickling W out of a Hitchcock mare. The Japanese Racing Association. This was his ride at the World Championships in Herning last year. Scored 67.438 in the Grand Prix in Denmark. And his second World Championship outing on this horse. He had a different ride in Tokyo. He rode Ludwig de Sonkonig 2. This horse with Carl Hester and Charlotte Desjardins some years ago. Charlotte, in fact, had a very good freestyle win when she rode it, 78.725. And Congratulations to Charlotte and to Dean on the arrival of their new baby. Meanwhile, back here to Kazuki Sedo. And looking now to try and put in a strong performance here today in the Grand Prix. Although just a little bit hurried at the start. Just needs to ensure they keep that collection. Solid halt and rein back. Get a little bit more engagement, just allow the rhythm and lift to take hold more in the passage and the piaffe. Allow that sort of ground cover. Could do with showing a little more activity in the extended walk to help improve their marks, and again a little bit more activity and collection within the collected walk. Wasn't the most direct transition, unfortunately, either into the passage, where again just need a little bit more energy all round. Keeping everything very neat and tidy, solid, so through these elements. Solid but not exuberant. Again, it's just lacking that energy. You really need to see the expression of movement, just all-round activity, certainly again in the pirouette, using that self-carriage. Again, just looking for the energy, just need to be careful in the Piaf that by pushing for that, you don't end up hurrying a little bit and breaking the rhythm. Great to see them in action, though. Kazuki Sado there and Barolo for Japan. Partnership that have got plenty of experience together, continuing to push on. It'll be interesting to see quite where that puts them. I guess the sort of plus 66% mark. Looking at the way the scores were trending, ultimately today it's just about energy. It's about sort of impulsion, just trying to bring that collection and that rhythm a little bit more into the Piaf, and some nice combinations and nice extensions. And the changes were good as well. Lack energy in the remaining movements. Unfortunately, it just continually has that impact on your overall score. Wait for that score in a moment or two for Kazuki Sado and Barolo for Japan. There is another to go before we take a break. The lineup after the break is something to behold. We're looking forward to that, and we'll talk about it in a minute when we have seen our next rider go. But there is the score, and it is over 66%. 66.739 is the final mark. So that goes into sixth of the 7 we've seen so far here in this Grand Prix test for the FEI Dressage World Cup, presented by RS2 Dressage here at the Dutch Masters, the Indoor Brabant Horse Show. Marlies van Balen leading the way from Hans-Peter Middelholt and Denise Nickerman. It is a 1-2-3 for the Dutch at the moment. Now it is Belgium's turn. And this is Charlotte de Valcue riding Botticelli by Vivaldi out of a Cos mare this gelding. A World Championship ride from Herning last year. It's a horse that really has been part of her story, coming all the way through from juniors, young riders, and then on in into under 25s, and then fighting their way all the way up onto a senior team. She's just been to Qatar, riding in Doha. She rode there in the Grand Prix, and actually she won the special. She didn't do the freestyle. She rode in the special and won that. Her Grand Prix result over 70%. In terms of World Cup events this season, she was in action both in Mechelen, which was her first World Cup show with this horse, and again in Amsterdam. Just getting a little bit short in the neck, and just maybe wanted to just allow that halt just to stand just for a moment longer. And again, just allow the horse just in the extended movements we've seen there to really open up. Certainly don't want to let the neck get too short. See a definite loss of rhythm through the transition from the Piaf to the Passage. So such an important transition as well coming up. It's again, it's perhaps one of the toughest, if not toughest, transitions of them all, because the horses have such an innate habit of predicting what's coming with that movement from the collected walk into the passage, and you could see it there. It was just anticipated. These two have a combination best of 67.022, so they're certainly pushing up towards the top end of their performances together in Grand Prix competition. Currently 66.145. They're within a percentage mark of their combination best. Need to be mistake free where they can, though. Mistake 3 through the one-time changes. Now down the centre line towards the pirouette. Well, again, pushing very solid scores, keeping them movements accurate, and therefore picking up the 7s and 7.5s, and at the moment at 67.639 is heading towards a combination best score for these two. It really is a good day at the moment as they come towards these closing lines. Such an important centre line then. Oh, that will affect them. Oh dear, tension really just creeping in, and what a shame, because up till that point they were heading towards a combination best score, and you know, that hits them hard on the mark, and what a shame. What really, that really is, because she'd done so well, and then suddenly getting caught out, and such a difficult point of the test as well when it comes to the mark, because you get hit, as I can see, with the Piaf mark and with the transition mark as well. So, and then of course into the passage afterwards, it's impossible to recover any sort of marks there. So with the Piaf being double, suddenly you found your way short all the way to the finish, and well, that is a shame. It was very unexpected at the end there for Charlotte Defalque and Botticelli. It's going to mean that Maries van Baarle is going to lead the way at the break, 73.087. The Dutch at the moment going well here at the Dutch Masters. It's a really nice combination, these two. Just need to occasionally watch the sort of tension through the neck doesn't sort of come through. Well, here's the score coming up. No, here's not the score. I was hoping for a score. Shall I tell you what the score is? I can tell you. Can I tell you? I don't think it is ready. Actually, we're still waiting for a single judge. We'll find that out in a moment. And then we will come back at 7 o'clock local time. We'll be underway again in 15 minutes here with the run through to finish. There's the score, 63.848. Could have been so much more, but caught out at the end. Nevertheless, as I say, leading the way, it is Maries van Balen, who is out in front at this current moment, the halfway mark, leading the way on Habibi. So 73.087 ahead of Hans-Peter Middelholt and Denise Nickerman. The 1-2-3 is all for the Netherlands. Laura Tomlinson there, the best of the rest for the British riders in 4th. But to come, you have the likes of Great Britain, Charlotte Fry and Glamour Dale. You have Father Sylvester in there with Hexagons, Isha Weiss. You've got the 2-time winner already this year on the Western European League, Dinya Bandiera and Hermes. You've also got the likes of Isabel Verth and many more. We'll be back very, very soon.
Nog 5 minuten. Gaan we weer beginnen en u plaatsen weer in, dames en heren, voor meisjes.
It is our pleasure to welcome you to s-Hertogenbosch for the FEI Dressage World Cup Western European League. 4 leagues makes this series truly global and provides athletes from all around the world with opportunities to qualify for finals, which will take place in Omaha in April 2023. And one of the most prestigious series on the international dressage calendar, it is with great anticipation that we watch this season qualifiers unfold and reveal for whom the doors to the final will open.
Zijn dan dus de genoeg u mogen verwelkomen hier in het mooie s-Hertogenbosch voor de FEI Dressage World Cup, de West-Europese Liga. Dus de mondiale serie die kan tegen de hele wereld kans op zich te plaatsen voor de finale die in april in Omaha plaats gaat vinden. Dat is een van de meest prestigieuze series op de internationale dressuurkalender. Kijk met veel verwachting naar de ontknoping van de kwalificatiewedstrijden van dit seizoen. Hier wenst elke deelnemer atleet veel succes op in dit tweede gedeelte van de FEI Dressage World Cup, presented by s-Hertogenbosch Dressage.
Welcome back, everybody. Delighted to have you here with us at s-Hertogenbosch, the FEI Dressage World Cup. It is the final leg of the FEI Dressage World Cup Western European League. It is the Grand Prix day, the freestyle to come on Saturday. And then we're off to Omaha and the final this year. Exciting times lie ahead. And right here, right now, there's an exciting lineup coming our way in the second half of the draw, because look at some of the names it includes, from Isabel Werth there at the end, Ben Vendel, and of course in there as well the world champion Charlotte Fry and Glamadel. Add into the mix some of the very best from the Netherlands alongside riders from France and Finland. It is mouth-watering, the lineup, and you can only but imagine how excited I am for the freestyle on Saturday at this point. But either which way, I'm excited for what we are going to be able to enjoy together over the next sort of hour and a quarter here with these final 9 combinations. Kicking us back off is going to be France, but just to remind you, as things stand at the moment, leading the way, it is Marlies van Wallen and Habibi DVB. And that leading score is 73.087. This, though, is France, and Pauline Basquin running Centurious Darima Z, IFECE, gelding by Sandra Herrera of Voltaire Mare. For the Institut Français de Cheval et de la Toque Equestion combination, we saw in Lyon. That was their first World Cup show together, finishing in the top 10 in the freestyle. So she's produced, she rode it on the Nations Cup teams in Compiègne and in Rotterdam last year. He scored 70.131 together, just outside the top 10 in the Grand Prix in Lyon. More recently, they were back in Lyon in February in the 3-star, where they finished 5th. She rode at the World Championships last year. That was on Rima Z, the horse she rides here, and she scored 69.938 in that outing in Herning. Pauline Basquin, 13-year-old gelding, Sartorius Rima Z. To ensure they stay nice and relaxed. Solid through the half passes, although still show a little bit more through. Not quite square in the halts. Just wanted to be a little bit more relaxed in the reinback as well. Lovely extended trot. Sure, they could still show a little bit more through the passage and the piaffe, although again I think solid, as you can see, with marks of 7s, 7.5s, keeping this at the moment as a personal best score for Pauline. Gets a little bit hurried through the extended walk. Just wants again to relax a little more. Just a little bit uneven in the collected walk, just losing that rhythm. Transition certainly wanted to be more direct. Just going a little bit against the hand in the passage, then better into the piaffe. Personal best marks dropped a little bit from that. The personal best is 71.696. If they can top that here today. Little mistake in the one-time changes. to ensure they come out of the pirouette nice and straight at the end. It just got a little bit sort of large, started off much better on the pirouette to the right. Edging up towards that 70% mark. It's nice even transition marks. Very well done to Pauline Basquin there, and Sartorius Darima Z. Combination for France. I think come the end they should just get through that 70% barrier as the partnership for France here today. Lovely combination to watch, and a partnership that again just getting stronger and stronger, and certainly established themselves now. Of course, the last year is very much part of the setup for France in terms of teams. I don't think they'll reach their personal best. That was 71.696. Nevertheless, we will see really nice combinations, some really nice riding, and a huge amount to like there. A light-footed horse as well. Very soft in the way that it shows, and maybe overall just looking for a little bit more collection, and there was just a couple of little mistakes, like I mentioned, in the one-time changes. As they wrap up, Pauline Basquin's score comes through 70.283%. It is the mark. 70.283. Well, we move on. Dama now. Dama Silvestre and the Hexagons Ish Weiss. The stallion by Hexagons Rubiquil out of a Negro mare. Lovely partnership these two have made. Been busy as well on the World Cup circuit. They appeared for the first time in Lyon. And they rode in Madrid, where they actually finished third in the freestyle. That personal best mark coming that day. Mechlin, they were 7th. Basel, they were 8th. More recently as well, they went to Doha, where they finished in the top 10. This was, of course, she was on the World Championships team as well in Herning. With Hexagons at double Dutch. She's now with Hexagons East Reefs here today. Currently sitting in 7th place as well on the Western European League. Hoping this weekend to be able to secure that qualification, get yourself in the top 9 to be assured of a place in Omaha at the FEI Dressage World Cup final. It's not running a little bit. It's looked really good though, apart from that nice opening line. quite square in the halt. A little bit through the extended trot now, getting to see the passage and the piaffe. Just creeping a little bit in the piaffe. Nice through the extended walk. Again through the collected walk. Very nice. Struggling a little bit there in the passage, just showing a little bit of tension. Just be careful that doesn't creep into the piaffe as well. Just slightly. Solid and impressive through the extended canter. Just to watch the collection a little bit at the change. Creeping towards their personal best, 73.174, the personal best score in Grand Prix competition for these two. Again, nice through the one-time changes, the tempi changes. Setting up for the pirouette. Best we've seen so far here this evening. It's not quite as clean to the right as it was to the left. Certainly getting closer and closer to that personal best score. Nice solid transitions though as well. Between the passage, the piaffe, and back into the passage to finish. Just a little bit of tension creeping in right at the end, but nevertheless, A very, very strong outing for Hexagon, Zisha Weiss and Thomas Viesta for the Netherlands. The Dutch at the moment certainly in control of the leaderboard in these early stages. I say early because we're still far from finished here. There could be changes yet. It's just a case of whether they quite get to that personal best of 73.174 or where that actually falls into the place. It was a very dynamic horse, lovely to watch and a really nice test. Very, very positive indeed. So Thomas Viesta, as I said as well, with her performances this year, has got herself up there in the qualifying spots, sitting in 7th on the Western European League, ahead of Lennon Hanneberg and behind Patrick Kittel in terms, and those are two riders that are not here. So every chance to add to the scores that she's picked up already, and maybe be able to just add a few more points on to her tally. There's a happy team here at the Dutch Masters, and here's the score. Oof, it's awfully close to a personal best. It's not quite, but it's very close. 73.109 is the mark. It's a new leading score here. 73.109. The personal best 73.174. Well done. Thomas Viesta now leading the way, and then came these two. It is the world champions, the combination that had that golden outing in Herning last summer. The rider in the saddle, of course, is Charlotte Fry. Lottie, the Van Olst horse that went to London and went through the 90% barrier that day in the freestyle, 90.995. Difficult to compare in some respects the Grand Prix test from London because it was the short test. 84.026 was the mark in London in the short test. Charlotte, who also competed more recently on Everdale in Mechlin, where she finished in 3rd in the freestyle. She rode the new horse that we hadn't seen previously, Lars van der Noordenheide in Amsterdam. A sort of more under the radar performance there. Developing that was only their 3rd show together. But now at the Dutch Masters, there is not just a step change in the scores. It's like changing floors. Beautifully athletic. Maybe just lost a little bit of fluency in the rein back. Again, very nice through to the extended, and then comes the party piece of Passage and Piaf. It's going to be a big couple of days for these two when you think that Dina van Liera is here as well as Isabel Verf, Benjamin Vendel. Some strong opposition, but this is a strong test. Very, very strong. Maybe a little bit early, when just a little bit anticipated there going in through that transition of the walk to the passage. Comes the canter. Beautiful through the two-time changes. Tempi 2's 9.2. Lovely extended canter as well to follow that. Glamodel absolutely in his stride. Little mistake in the collected canter, that change that came before the zigzags. Zigzags again on the button. Again, just one little change, a little bit short behind. Short behind in the one-time tempi changes. You can see that 6.2. And the pirouettes, absolutely perfect. Across this arena floor here in s-Hertogenbosch. His personal best, 80.838 in the Grand Prix test. She's going to be very close to an 80% score here today with that finish as well. Brilliant from Charlotte Fry and Glamodel, the world champions, once again looking strong. It wasn't perfect, let's be clear, because there are two little mistakes in there, but nevertheless, so much that was just so good has ensured that that combination will take the lead at this point. There are some strong combinations to come, but there is no question that that will go to the top of the leaderboard. But with what score we will find a little bit short behind in the one-time changes, and of course that changed into the transition, the left hind leg, just that little mistake coming after the extended canter. Really lovely picture, so much energy. It really is an outstanding talent of a partnership. But how expensive will those mistakes be? 79.826, it's into the lead. That we never doubted. but will it be enough to take the top spot here today? With still, what have we got, 6 more partnerships to come, and in there is a real mix of top class talent, so it will be very, very interesting to see how it all unfolds. Andrew Gardner, the president of the class, rings the bell to start our next combination. And it's the second of the chances for Belgium as well. Damien Michels riding into Mazeo Van Het Merlehoff. His Tokyo ride, World Championship ride, European Championship ride. He's just come back from competing in Doha as well. He's in the top 10 in both the freestyle and in the Grand Prix, 8th in the Grand Prix, 7th in the freestyle. He just missed out on the top 10 when he rode in Mechlin on home soil back in December. Scored 70.022 in the Grand Prix that day in Mechlin. Been a partner of his for a good number of years. They actually got their personal best score in Doha in the freestyle. They managed to improve to 76.065, but that is for Saturday. Their best, I believe, in Grand Prix is 70.202, which came in Tokyo. Solid start. Just perhaps resting that left hind. Just lost the rhythm a little bit there in the passage. Certainly look good in the walk. Just need to make sure they keep that fluidity now through from the transition. Keep the rhythm a bit more in the passage, just losing that activity somewhat. done through the zigzags. Again, keeping the test fault-free at the moment. Yes, you need to show more to get more from the marks, but very much keeping a good solid base, although unfortunately there just that last change not completely coming through, just getting a little bit short behind. Will have a bit of an impact on those one-time tempi changes. It's a little bit more energy. Just allow the lift to come through in that passage, just show a little bit more through the piaffe as well. It's been a very strong, solid test for Domine Marchels and Intermezzo Van Meredhoff. Certainly needed more to bring more from the marks, but was getting closer and closer to 70%, although I fear that that final line perhaps will now just have a little bit of an impact on being able to break through that barrier for the second of the Belgian riders here at the Dutch Masters. So Domine Marchels there, and hoping that it's enough to put him into the top 15 and get him through to the freestyle here on Saturday. Nevertheless, it was a very correct test. I was just needing that more collection, just maintain the energy, the support from the hind legs for greater ease, just to show that fluidity. Nice and fluid. That's a good way of riding. Does Domine. So now we wait for the mark. Here it is, 69.565, so 69.565, and into the top 10 they go into 8th place, and that'll be enough to ensure that they are part of Saturday. Now to another big-time partnership for the Netherlands. It is Dina van Liere who comes forward to join us as the next to go. This exciting combination, because the superstar rider with the great Hermes NOP, the 11-year-old stallion by Easy Game out of a Fleming mare, the winning combination from both Mechelen and Amsterdam, looking to make it a hat-trick in the Western European League here at the Dutch Masters. They took the top spot in the Grand Prix as well in the Grand Prix in Amsterdam. It's the ride, of course, that took it to bronze at the World Championships in both the freestyle and the special. And should be certainly now trying to take advantage of those two little mistakes that appeared in Charlotte Fry's test to see if she can find her way to the top of the board in the Grand Prix. She was only third in the Grand Prix in Mechlin and went on to win the freestyle. Charlotte, of course, was riding Everdale that day. Lost the rhythm a little bit in that early half pass to the right. Who's fresh back from competing in Doha with Hartschuker, where she won the Grand Prix and finished second with her other ride in the freestyle, which was the ride, of course, that we saw in Stuttgart and in Basel. She currently sits in 5th place on that Western European League. Also such an amazing piaffe and passage. A bit hesitant when they came past C, showing a little bit of tension in that collected walk. You can see that reflected in the marks as well, and again that transition we were just watching coming around the corner, that tension just sort of all creeping in and kicking out when she used the spur. So that, as again, you can see the transition mark, and that's an expensive couple of movements. Shows just how hard it is, this sport, this ultimate relationship of a horse and a rider competing together. The synergy, the understanding, the dynamic of the relationship, and how they at all times have just got to be able to work together. The judges looking for perfection, that's impossible, but these horses and riders coming as close to it as they possibly can. Be careful at the start of that extended canter line. The word is going to be tension just creeping into this test in a few different places, and it is going to have that effect on the mark. I mean, it's one of those combinations over the course of this winter that we know when it comes to the freestyle how they can turn it up several degrees. But those mistakes in the zigzag line really costing them dearly. There you can see it, 5.3. It's dropped her down. Got the ability to pick up a few more positions yet, though, in this test. down the centre line. She's picked up those solid marks, plenty of 8s, 7.5s, keeping the average moving up again. These two just unable to pick up those sort of 9s and 10s that Lottie was able to with Glamourdale, but it is to the finish for this star combination. Take nothing away from how good those two are. To win twice on the Western European League this season is a remarkable achievement. And now competing at home, she's got some tough opposition, but come Saturday, I can promise you that Dina Vandiera at Hermes ZOP will be right up there. There isn't any doubt about it. There were a lot of highlights today, just that tension. Certainly in the zigzags, we saw that really creep in. And again, so much to like. You know, tension, I guess, is the word. And just maybe, the horse maybe. And going back to what I said, of course, it only, judges always look for perfection. That's why they want to give 10s. But it is, no one can be perfect. That's an impossibility. And this is a sport where just those little moments of tension can just start to chip away at that mark. Well, there is the mark. It's still a strong mark. It's got into second. Well done, Dina Vandiera. Hermes NOP 75.369 to ensure. And we have this combination for the Netherlands as well, the last of the Dutch challengers. And it is Marika van der Putten riding here with Troveleston's Titanium. And this gelding by Totelas out of a Stendergamere. Marika, currently at the moment, she's sat just outside, isn't she, of the qualifying places. She's in 14th place. There's definite room for improvement. It'll be fascinating. I mean, Lottie Fry's outside of the top 9 at the moment, but she'll be hoping for a big score here on Saturday to push her up in to the qualifying positions. But that to come. This is what we will now focus on, though. This is a partnership that were 4th in Newminster in the freestyle, 5th that day in the Grand Prix. They won, these two, the Grand Prix in Mechlin. 75.978. They ended up, though, missing out, sadly, on the podium in Mechlin, where they finished in 4th, but 2 4th place finishes have certainly been the highlights. They made their 5-star debut, these combination, right here in s-Hertogenbosch last year. Certainly been a big year since, including that World Championship performance. Very nice start. Watch the pole doesn't drop a little bit through the half passes. Let the nose out a little more. That's not the cleanest transition into the halt. All got a little bit hurried. Then really looking good as ever. Lovely expressionate movement through the extended trot. Does such a good job at the Piaffe and Passage, and of course with the confidence in those paces and the transition, really able to score strongly through those movements. Certainly putting themselves in a position for second place here, and also perhaps challenging that personal best score of theirs, the 75.978, that was their winning score in Mechelen. As I say, that day she beat Dina van Leeuwen and had amazing OP. That day she beat Charlotte Fry. But with Everdell and Lottie Fry today putting in a commanding performance on Glamourdale and holding the lead as it stands. Certainly set a very high bar here for everyone that has followed. Really getting into their strides, so strong in the Passage and Piaffe. Maybe not just having that final 10th that we see from a horse like Glamourdale, but certainly this at the moment is right up there compared to the others. As at the moment, very much a personal best score for this combination, showing a massive improvement from what they've been able to produce at any other time. Nice and straight through the two-time tempi changes. See the zigzag mark just a little bit in the lower sevens. Just maybe wanting to again just let that freedom come back into the one-time tempi changes. That score at the moment just come down below that personal best. Needed to show a little bit more impulsion, a little bit more from behind through that final extended trot movement. But again, the Passage really strong, lovely in the Piaffe as well. I think perhaps they saved their best in terms of the Piaffe for this final line, and a really nice transition as well back into the Passage, putting together a very strong finish, and I have a feeling this should push them back up and over to their best score to date for Marika van der Putten and Thomas Westerlin's Titanium RS2. A score, I believe, that will send them right up into second place here, a score that betters their winning score in the Grand Prix in Mechelen, which their current personal best, 75.978. And that final element of the test, they really dug deep at the end, didn't they? Very, very nice, showing great talent. I mean, the Piaffe and Passage is sublime. So, 3 to go. But another big statement test from Marieke van der Bitten and Toveleston's Titanium RS2. Let's wait for the score. Confirmed as a personal best, 76.77.61 is the mark from the judges. Andrew Gardner going as high as 78 there. So a very impressive performance from the Dutch star. And I'm sure they'll look forward to Saturday now. But is it enough to stay in the top 2, top 3 perhaps here? Because we move on with 3 to go. 1 for Finland and then the 2 for Germany. It is the Finnish combination that we will concentrate on next up, because it is Emma Canavera riding Greek Air. This was her ride at the World Championships, qualified for the special. Grand Prix score in Herning last year, 73.028. This year's Western European League has seen them in Wilhelmsburg, Stuttgart, Mecklen and Neumünster. Certainly done well recently with top 6 in the Grand Prix, both in Mecklen and in Neumünster, where they finished also 6th in the freestyle. The best Grand Prix score this season, 75.665. That came in Wilhelmsburg, right back at the start of the year, or start of the season. It's gelding by IPS Garibaldi out of a Florenstam mare. In the saddle, a lady with plenty of experience. That wonderful ride, Cine Spirit, that she rode in London in 2012. Good through the half pass, certainly the one to the left better than the one to the right, but both giving them a nice strong start to the test. Not quite square though in the halt. Full of energy, looking in full control at the moment. Certainly having one of their best starts to the Grand Prix test. Stay nice and relaxed as well, just allow the rhythm and the fluency to really express itself. Not quite as tidy in that Piaf. Just again showing a little bit of tension, losing the rhythm behind. Just dropped down a little bit below their personal best, but still a very strong outing at the moment here from Emma and Greek Air. Very competent through the zigzag. Down through the tempi changes. Very well ridden pirouettes and the change in the middle, all looking good, and I think now starting to edge back, or edging right up against that 74% mark, and a strong finish here could again see a personal best mark recorded in this Grand Prix. 74.131 is what Emma's looking to beat at the moment, trending in 4th place as well. Looks to be a good final line. Perhaps, we'll see. These final marks and that final halt just could have been a little bit more still. Just quite short in terms of how long they held the halt for. But brilliant performance from Emma. It's been a real pleasure to watch them over the course of this Western European League, who sits in 17th on the overall standings. Not quite sure there's enough available for them to get themselves up into the Omaha slots, but either which way, get yourself up in the top 20 of the riders in the league. It is a brilliant performance. Very quickly the score as well. There we have it. So close to being another personal best, but it isn't quite. It's still top 4, and it's still brilliant news. Very well ridden and performed with Greek Air. 74.022% is the mark tonight for Emma Caravera for Finland. So, a really correct test again, lovely piaf and passage. Some really good and correct riding. Just sometimes could have had a little bit more power. So currently, Charlotte Fry, Glamadel leads 79.826. Marika van der Putten and Torvelson's Titanium RS2 sitting in second, 76.761. And Dina van Leera at Hermes NOP, 75.369. Emma Canavera there, Greek Air, going into fourth place. But currently, Great Britain leading from the Netherlands in second and third, and 2 to go, both of which ride for Germany, and both of which stand every chance of shaking things up in terms of the order here. You wouldn't bet against that over the next 20 minutes, because we're going to start with these final two with Benjamin Verdel riding Famoso OLD. Benjamin, who of course was leading the Western European League in the early stages. He still sits in fourth place. He's had some very strong results this year, including fourth in Basel on Daily Mirror. He was third with that ride in Stuttgart. Famoso, who we finished fourth with in Lyon. This was his World Championship ride, part of that team that took the bronze at the World Championships. Really nice entry at the beginning, wasn't there? A bit more even and engaged in that passage, and Pierre just a little bit hesitant at the start. Perhaps allow a little bit more freedom through the extended walk, and then in the collected walk just needing to show a little bit more activity. Very carefully ridden transition into the passage, although getting some double beats, a little bit uneven again. Stronger into the PF we saw there, and the transition marks looking good as well. At the moment, not able to break into those scores to challenge the top three here. Third at the moment, 75.369. We're getting closer. Certainly very nice through the two-time tempi changes. Mistake in the zigzags, the mistake in the change. You can see the effect there, 6.5. No mistakes in the one-time tempi changes though. Just almost looked like they fell a little bit out of the second pirouette to the right, just sort of lost that bounce, that jump, that energy. Trying to knock on the door of the top three here as they finish things off. Benjamin Vettel and Famoso OLD for Germany. The first of the two German riders, the penultimate partnership here in this Grand Prix. He finished off strongly. It'll be enough to go ahead of Dina van Leeuwen's 75.369 to get themselves into the top three as it stands. Will be showing some very nice attitude, lots to like, very harmonious test. Sometimes just a little bit hesitant today, not always able to show the fluency and the regularity that they really would have wanted to. The replays, of course, that just leaves us one more to go. So Benjamin Vettel there, when Famoso OLD. Pretty smart. Punch to the air. And a big cheer. There's the score as well, 75.043. He's got into fourth place, 75.043, which means there's only one more to challenge Charlotte Fry and Glamourdale at the top of the leaderboard here. Just one, and what a one. It is a lady that has been number one on so many occasions throughout her career. Nobody has a record quite like it, and she'll already know that as she tops currently the Western European League, she'll be heading to Oberhaupt to try to compete for, what would it be, number 5 in terms of World Cups, after the 3 wins on Weihold and that win back in 2007 on Waranichi. This, of course, is Isabel Werf. Isabel riding Emilio 107, the Westphalian gelding by Grand Prix out of a Cartier à Mer. For a lady who has one of the most illustrious careers in this sport. This season, perhaps not the best start, unfortunately, for Isabel there. Just not able to perhaps stand for too long. And I think we'll see that in the marks in a moment. But marks count for everything. Consistency. She has been second on every occasion. Gothenburg, Amsterdam, Basel and Stuttgart. Lyon as well. Marks now picking up. Emilio last out in Amsterdam, second that day in the Grand Prix on 77.957. Certainly have it within them to challenge Lottie Fry's score, but again, that little issue there, that halt, not as fluent as the judges I think will have wanted to see. Just dragging a little bit behind. You can see 6.4. Charlotte had her own couple of problems in her tests. There's nothing easy about what these riders are able to do with these magnificent horses. And these horses, these equine superstars, they really are their own people, their own personalities. They are not machines. They have their good days, they have their bad days, they have their outstanding moments, and then they have their quirks as well. And Isabel, over her career, has had so many outstanding horses. Think of the likes of Gigolo, Satchmo, Weigold. I mean, the list goes on and on. Just a little bit weaker in the extended walk. At the moment, still quite early in this test, and despite the fact it says fifth there at the moment, she'll have the ability to really use the strength of the piaffe, the passage and some other movements to be able to bring that score back up. Strong again through the passage of the piaffe as we expected. Now into these two-time tempo changes across this diagonal, unfortunately. Just a few little mistakes creeping in there for Isabel and Emilio. See it, only 4, sadly. been a night that has proved just how tough this sport is. And just how talented these riders and these horses are. Those mistakes unfortunately costing them dearly in terms of the current trending percentage. Very uncharacteristic in that respect from what we've seen from Isabelle Werf and Emilio this year. Again, though, very solid, really nice through. You can see the pirouette to the left marks there, and again looking good to the right. Really well balanced. Bringing the best that they can in this final centre line. One of the greatest dressage riders to have ever sat in the saddle in competition. But tonight, her high levels of expectation in this sport perhaps falling a little short, and I think the reaction at the end said it all. Disappointment from Isabelle Werf here this evening after what has been, quite frankly, a quite brilliant season to see her at the top of the Western European League. But tonight, just a few little mistakes crept in. Started off with that little issue in the halt at the beginning. She again having problems in the halt with the rein back, because again that wasn't completely square. And again, mistakes. Such a difficult word to use in this sport at this level, but those are what the judges will penalise you for. Tonight is not Isabelle's night, I do not think, certainly not from the impression she gave or from the marks we've seen. Even the best score of the night so far in the terms of Lottie Fry's wasn't perfect, as we said at the time. There were two quite clear mistakes in that test. Yet, fingers crossed for her, she's been able to recover that through the rest of the test. Unfortunately for Isabelle here this evening, that isn't the case. Until we get the score, we can't confirm it, but that is quite simply what it looks to be. And this, if they show the replay, it'll show, watch this, said it all. Disappointed Isabelle Werf, what a shame. Such an outstanding rider. And you can see, there we have it, 74, 3, 4, 8 for Isabelle Werf to finish tonight in 5th place here in the Grand Prix for this Western European League here at the Dutch Masters, the Indoor Brabant Horse Show. But the winner tonight, it is the world champions Charlotte Fry and Glamourdale, 79.826 to win the Grand Prix test, ahead of Marika van der Putten and Torvaldsen's Titanium RS2 with their personal best performance, a mark that beat their winning score from Mechelen. Dina van Leeuwen and Hermes ZOP, already a double winner in the freestyle on the World Cup circuit, will finish 3rd. And then it is Germany in 4th and 5th with Benjamin Verdel and Isabelle Werf, ahead of a great test tonight from Emma Caravera. Each ride, each rider, each horse bringing its own story. But ultimately tonight, the story is about the world champion. Here, in her second home, or real home in other ways, because of course Lottie based out here in the Netherlands and with the Van Olsts, and it is home soil for them tonight. And Charlotte and Glamourdale coming out for only the second time this season in competition in the Western European League, and they're following suit on what they did in London when they took the top spot in the Grand Prix, and of course they went on and then blew the opposition away in the freestyle. But the freestyle will be fascinating because you can absolutely guarantee that Isabel will be back on form. Dina van Leeuwen, despite missing out in third tonight, you know, has already won 2. It is all open, but it is tonight about Charlotte Fry and Glamourdale here at the Dutch Masters as they win the Grand Prix.
Vanavond de Grand Prix. Komende zaterdag de wereldbeker kuur op de muziek. Gaan naar de prijsstrijking.
I think Bert Ruiter, our arena speaker, said cue up the music. So we will in a moment cue up the music and get set to welcome in the prize winners tonight in this FEI Dressage World Cup, presented by RS2 Dressage, the Grand Prix here for the CDIW.
Prachtige beelden op het scherm, dames en heren. FEI Dressage World Cup, presented by RS2 Dressage. Op plaats nummer 8 ontvangt u haar met een daverend applaus. At position number 8 for the Netherlands.
Here they come.
DVB.
It is the prize winners tonight. Starting in 8th place with the lady that came at the beginning, Maurice van Baren, and the exciting Habibi DVB. 73.087 the score here this evening.
Bravo, Maurice van Baren.
Habibi. A very exciting ride going forward. It was only their third show together. Well, next up, Hexagons, Ich Weiß, Damen de Veresta. Looking strong, looking good in terms of qualification for Omaha, sitting 7th from the Western European League in the Grand Prix tonight, 73.109 to finish in 7th place.
Number 6 at position number 6, representing Finland.
And then
Emma Kanerva, Greek Air.
Next in is the combination. See, I was hugely impressed by these two this evening. They've just seemingly got stronger and stronger over the course of the season. And it is Emma Caravera and Grieker putting in another really strong performance. And they came very close to a personal best, not quite, but nearly there. 74.022 this evening to finish in 6th place.
Fifth position this evening for Germany, Emilio.
Well, Emilio
for Isabel
and
Werf.
Isabel Werf tonight, inevitably a lady who has such high standards, showed that disappointment at the end of her test when things didn't quite go as well as they have done in the past with this wonderful ride. But have no fear when it comes to the big night on Saturday and that freestyle, she will be right up there. You can absolutely guarantee it. Another very consummate performance from the man in 4th. In fact, we're still just watching. Here he is. It's the other German combination, and Famoso OLD for Benjamin Vandal. Ride that he used so successfully at the World Championships, and alongside his other super horse Daily Mirror, seen him currently sitting in 4th place on the Western European League and looking like he is all set to head off to the USA to those FEI Dressage World Cup. So that was 8th through to 4th. It leaves us 3 more to be presented to 1, 2, 3 in tonight's FEI Dressage World Cup Grand Prix, presented by RF2 Dressage. The heartbeats.
Top 3 van vanavond.
2 heartbeats.
Met prachtige scores.
1
Spanning
goal.
loopt op.
That is what this sport
Dit is
is
mooi.
about. As I said a little earlier, horse sport is always
Ladies
about a relationship. It's
and
about working
gentlemen.
with your partner, working with your horse, working with your friend.
Aan de spotwissels kan even niet gebruiken.
Be able
Ladies and gentlemen, the
come through
winner. The
and
winner
perform
is the world
at this
champion
level.
from Great
Here
Britain.
they are,
Let's say
the
of
1, 2,
Lottie
3,
Fry
led in
and Glamadale.
by
Even geen
the
stoplights.
world champions
Dank u.
of dressage.
Second,
Charlotte Fry and the Van Alst horses, Glamadale, take the top spot here in the Grand Prix tonight. 79.826%. It is another stunning performance from this amazing combination. This super stallion has certainly shone through as one of the great stars in this sport. Flanked in 2nd and 3rd by Marika van der Putten and Sylvester's Titanium RS2 and Dina van Leer and Hermes
RS2
NOP.
Dressage with a score of 79.826, representing Great Britain.
It is
Glamadale, Lottie
another
Fry.
really... Here she comes, waving to the crowd. As I said, they've only been out once together before on the Western European League, and that was in London. Will they be able to do the double? You'd be brave to bet against them with the form that they are currently in. They proved their humanity this evening, even when you have such a star combination that can almost do no wrong, still showed that how easy it is to make a mistake. And when it comes to these big nights, these special occasions, and you think to the future, then, you know, those are the things that you need to make sure try not to happen. Everyone, I'm sure, desperate to wait for that moment when Charlotte and Glamourdale come up against Jessica and Delera. But behind Lottie this evening, two other exceptional combinations. And you can see in third place, Andrew Gardner, in fact, the president of the class, coming in to say well done. But in the lineup there, in second, personal best tonight. Personal best for the second place combination of Marika van der Putten and Tove Westens Titanium. And Dina van Leeuwen, Hermes NOP, already a double winner in the World Cup circuit this year. But let's just start. I mean, we're going to see the presentation party is a good chance for me to mention as well. That personal best tonight, 76.761. That bettered the score that won
succes voor RST Dressage
in the Grand Prix in Mechelen.
It
shows the step change that Lottie and Glamourdale bring to the occasion. But what a brilliant night. She was fourth in Mechelen in the freestyle. It would be fabulous to see Marika make it onto the podium tomorrow or on Saturday. Well, in third place tonight, it is Dina van Leeuwen, and Dina riding the great Hermes NOP. And what a partnership these two have made together. And I mean, they've really been the informed combination in recent weeks, last few months. I mean, let's remember these two won the bronze at the World Championships. These two won the World Cup round in Mechelen. They won the World Cup round in Amsterdam. They got 85% plus in Mechelen. They went up as high as 87% in Amsterdam. You know, we know their freestyle mark was, I think, 86, wasn't it? So do not rule out Dina van Leeuwen trying to push for a hat-trick. But come Saturday, all eyes will be on Lottie Fry and Glamourdale. Perhaps be dancing in a slightly calmer, more relaxed way around the arena. Charlotte just try to steady things back down again. It's another great night. It's another big win for the world champions in dressage. Lottie Fry and the Van Olsts, Glamourdale for Great Britain. So now the focus moves to the final leg of the Western European League here at the indoor Brabant Horse Show, the Dutch Masters, on Saturday. The final points on offer to qualify for the FEI Dressage World Cup finals in Omaha. Lottie will be looking for the points. She's not in the qualifying slots at the moment. I wonder if that'll be the case on Saturday evening. Gut feeling says she'll pick up some. But what scores will be on offer? It is all to play for, as Great Britain, the Netherlands and Germany realistically will battle it out for the top spot. Dressage here tonight has kicked things off at the Dutch Masters here in s-Hertogenbosch. It's been an absolute delight to enjoy this Grand Prix alongside you all. Now, like I said at the start, I can't tell you how excited I am for Saturday to get underway as well. What score can Lottie bring to bear that night? In London, she went through the 90% barrier, as she did, to win the World Championship. Are we in for one of those nights? Well, either which way round, opening night here at the Dutch Masters is Great Britain's, because it is the world champion, Charlotte Fry. The Van Olsts, Glamourdale that win Congratulations to them. Thank you for joining us here live on FEI TV. Thank you for being with me, Gareth Jenkins. I look forward to being with you again over the course of the weekend and on Saturday for the freestyle. Have a great day, a great evening, and thank you for tuning in.
Showprogramma waarin 8:10 drukke dagen voor Ankie. Ankie gaat richting de paddock om daar samen een clinic te verzorgen met Tommy Visser. En zo dadelijk verwachten wij u weer terug, want we hebben een heel mooi programma vanaf 8:10. Tot zo dadelijk.
Test. 1, 2, 1, 2. Test.
Het wordt weer tijd, dames en heren, om uw plaats op te zoeken hier bij de Dutch Masters voor het programma. De Dressage Masters. Kom er weer gezellig bij, zou ik zeggen. Neem uw plaats weer in. We gaan beginnen met de lichtshow, dames en heren. Het is zover de lichtshow van de Dressage Masters. Dames en heren, welkom terug bij de Dressage Masters, het showprogramma. Deze donderdag bij de 55e editie van de Dutch Masters Indoor Brabant Horse Show. Na de prachtige World Cup dressuurwedstrijd zo mooi gewonnen door Lottie Fry met Glamourdale. Nu een interessante dressuuravond, een veelzijdig programma. En ik ben blij dat ik dat samen mag presenteren met de voorzitter van de Dutch Masters, Ankie van Grunsven. U weet het allemaal, u hebt daar straks ook alle namen voorbij zien komen van winnaars uit het verleden. En Ankie was hier in de Brabanthallen zeer succesvol. 10 overwinningen in de World Cup, 6 keer met Bonfire, waarvan 1 keer de finale en 4 keer met Salinero. Dames en heren, Ankie van Grunsven. Ankie, al die mooie momenten in het verleden. Wat is je mooiste moment in jouw herinnering hier? Even kijken of je het doet. Het zou wel fijn zijn, anders pakken we mijn microfoon.
Oh ja, kan ook. Doet deze het wel, hè? Dan krijg jij die aan de praat. Dan, Ja, mooiste herinnering. Ja, ik denk, mijn eerste keer in Brabant was ik 16. En toen won ik 2 keer met Prisco. 1 keer een damesfiets en 1 keer een herenfiets. Dus dat heb ik wel goed onthouden, want daar was mijn vader ook blij mee.